Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the groundbreaking of Park Point East. I'm Jamie Berry, MDHA's Chief of Staff, and I'm so excited that you all could join us today. We are here to celebrate the latest efforts as we move forward to transform Nashville's largest and one of the oldest subsidized housing properties in Nashville into a mixed-use, mixed-income community. Since we began the Cayce transformation, we have completed more than 500 new apartments, with more than half of those for our Cayce Place families, 271 to be exact, including our very own RA President John Zerker, who has already moved into one of those new units. And today we are continuing that momentum by breaking ground on our next residential development, Park Point East. It will feature 2 apartment buildings and 24 townhomes for a total of 203 units. It is the 8th new residential construction here at Cayce. But we can't do this alone, as you know. And the Cayce transformation is a great example of partnerships creating a community where Nashvillians of all incomes can live. I have the pleasure of introducing MDHA's Executive Director, Dr. Troy D. White, who joined the agency a little over 2 years ago. We've been nonstop ever since, by the way. During his 2 years at the helm, he has continued to reflect on the 3 pillars he established during his first few months on the job: residents, staff, and development, 2 of which are our focus here today. It is my honor to welcome Dr. White to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Jamie. Before I get started, wow, what a day. Let me do this the right way, because we are in Nashville, Tennessee. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right. I was worried, I'm before the mayor, and if I don't get the audience ready and keyed up, I've got 2 mayors I'm sitting in front of. That puts a little pressure on me. What a wonderful day. Someone said to me, how do you manufacture this type of weather for an event? I do not. We are very blessed to have this lovely day. We also have a great view over my shoulder of the downtown horizon up here at Cayce Place. When we gathered for the groundbreaking of 5th and Summer this past spring, I referenced our hope to be awarded a 4% tax credit and bonds to build 203 units here at Cherry Oak, next to Cherry Oak Apartments. Many folks pulled me to the side and said, yeah, that's a big hope. You got a lot of dreams. Well, guess what? We received the award from the Tennessee Housing Development Agency earlier this year, and we are here today to break ground on our 8th development. But not only that, we will have 400 units of housing under construction for the first time in a long time here at Cayce Place, brand new construction. Today we are celebrating the next step of the Cayce transformation by breaking ground on our 8th new residential development, Park Point East. This name was selected for this development because it opens into the site of the future park that will be on my left-hand side. It's a 7-acre green space that we will have over here, linear park. It also sits on the highest point of the original Cayce Place campus. Hence the stunning views over my shoulder that you all have, so hopefully it makes a great shot for everyone standing. But while spectacular, the view is not the high point of why we are celebrating today. Today we are breaking ground on 203 units that Park Point East will feature. Of those 203 units, 115 are set aside for current Cayce Place residents. The remaining 88 units will house Nashvillians who earn up to 60% of AMI, area median income, increasing the supply of housing for those that need affordable housing for a range of incomes. I am grateful for the MDHA board. I see our board chair here. I didn't see any other board members slip in, but I do have our board chair here, former Mayor Purcell, and I'm grateful for the board, our staff, all of our partners, all of the elected officials who have been part of getting us where we are today. But most of all, I would like to thank the Cayce Place residents, including Resident Association President John Zerker. John, please stand up so we can applaud you and your leadership. John and the Resident Association play a key role in supporting our engagement here and continuing to provide us with feedback as we redevelop. We have talked about what we are doing today, how we got here, but residents like you, John, and the residents of Cayce Place are why we do what we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. White. During his 8 years on the Metro Council, he proved his commitment to affordable housing. He had several MDHA properties within his district, and I probably saw him at least once a week at an MDHA meeting, event, celebration, which I always love seeing him. And for the first time ever, I get to introduce him as something else besides the council member. I'm so excited to get to welcome the Honorable Mayor, Freddie O'Connell, to come up and say a few words.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jamie. And as we stand here this morning, I actually had a brief conversation about it. As we build something new, we're also rebuilding. This past Saturday, as most of you know, I think, we had devastating and deadly tornadoes here in the city. And I want to reflect on one of the many things that Jamie and I had the opportunity to collaborate on. Jamie made MDHA a reference standard for responsiveness in the aftermath of the March 2020 tornadoes. She was in constant contact with me because those tornadoes not just tore through vulnerable parts of the district that I represented, but left, unfortunately, many residents of MDHA communities out of power, and like now, during a cold snap in that March period, without heat. And so she was an incredible point of coordination and did so much to help the city and to help me as a council member. So I remain grateful for Jamie and that public service. And I know so many people here have participated personally in the response to this year's tornado. So thank you to those who have done so. But I will repeat what Dr. White said. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And I am grateful to see so many people here who have joined us to demonstrate public leadership, because as Dr. White mentioned, sometimes this does mean meeting aspiration with what is possible. And we have seen a lot of what is possible at this site. This is what public service looks like, and this is what public leadership can provide. It is an investment in people and possibilities, not just bricks and mortar, and it doesn't happen without dreams or without coordinated support. So I know we've got Councilmember Clay Capp here representing District 6 here in Nashville. I know I met earlier from the U.S. Office of Housing and Urban Development Field Office Director Walter Perry and Multifamily Housing Southeast Regional Director Mark Dominic. We've had great support from our federal partners, Jay Strabino from Senator Marsha Blackburn's office, Rachel Jones from Senator Bill Hagerty's office, and Ray Render from Congressman John Rose's office. And we've already recognized John Zerker and also Vice President Marilyn Greer from the Cayce Place Resident Association. So Today, I am here to offer my congratulations to our Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency, which we usually call MDHA, and warm greetings to Cayce families. Thank you for being here as well and pushing this dream forward. And seeing the crowd here, yes, the beautiful weather helps, but the beautiful cause helps even more. This is a great day for the cause of Cayce transformation and the residents of this neighborhood. We are seeing the advancement of a revitalization plan that began almost 10 years ago with community meetings. And since then, Jamie told us more than 500 housing units have been completed as part of Cayce transformation, and this new development takes the plan a big step forward. As you heard, it will bring more than 200 units, including set-asides for current Cayce residents, but this isn't just a unit count. The reason this matters is these are homes, and in so many cases, these are affordable and attainable homes for Nashville residents at a time when cost of living has gone up. And when construction begins in early 2024, as you heard, more than 400 of these homes will be under construction at one time. And according to MDHA's records, the last time our housing authority had that many new units under construction at once was 53 years ago, back in 1970. So we recognize the urgency of our affordable housing needs here in Nashville, and the level of support across local, state, and federal and community partners here today is reflective of the recognition of that urgency. Park Point East will be the 9th new residential construction that is part of Cayce transformation, and when you put it all together, the full plan calls for a mixed income, mixed-use community of 2,390 homes, including green space, a grocery store, and a pharmacy, and those amenities were requests from the community. That's what strikes me as being a special part of this plan. This started as a conversation with Cayce's residents. The city has been listening, and now we are doing. And on behalf of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and the Office of the Mayor, it is my honor to participate in this groundbreaking ceremony. It represents a victory for the power of collaboration and community conversations. Here we are reimagining Nashville's largest subsidized housing project to imagine a different future, and the residents get to write the next chapter. So thank you all so much for being here. And now I will turn it back over to Jamie.
Freddie used a point that I just want to reiterate. 400 units under construction when this officially gets started early next year. The first time in 53 years. So we're pretty proud of that. Our next speaker has already showed great interest in the Cayce transformation. In fact, Councilmember Cap and I met shortly after he was elected. He was actually one of the first council members I met with. And we spoke about MDHA for several hours, including, of course, the Cayce transformation. What he told me stuck with me. He said the Cayce transformation would likely be the most impactful effort in his district during his term. At this time, I'd like to welcome Councilmember Kay Clapp to come up and say a few words. Thank you.
Well, as you all know, as a newly elected council member, I can't take any credit for the groundbreaking that's taking place here today. And so I will spend my time thanking all of those of you who are. I recently learned in a book given to me by former Mayor Purcell that on the very day, April 19th, 1960, that Diane Nash and 3,000 other black citizens righteously confronted Mayor Ben West on the courthouse steps, and he gave the only humane answer to her immortal question, agreeing with her that racial discrimination was wrong. Later on that same day, that very afternoon, Mayor West came over here to East to commemorate the demolition of some housing in order to clear the way for a so-called urban renewal project. This struck me because if that afternoon, the result of years of concerted planning, illustrates why we should be careful in our designs and humble, the morning's more organic call and response for justice points to the underlying value that we should hold as our best guide despite our limitations. The human value that the city is for people, that our building should be for people, and that all our acts should be guided by the human values of dignity and equality and citizenship and the promotion of the joy of human flourishing, also known as the pursuit of happiness. So in that spirit, I'm excited to help break ground on this housing. Great thanks to all of you who have achieved this, unlike in the 60s, without making displacement part of the method, and who are working hard to house more and more people in Nashville. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. As our great city continues this unprecedented growth, the demand for quality housing remains. MDHA currently provides housing to more than 30,000 Nashvillians. That wouldn't be possible without our partners, so I'm going to do a quick thank you. To the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. HUD provides subsidy for more than 5,700 apartments and nearly 8,000 vouchers here in Nashville. This subsidy allows MDHA to serve families with the greatest need. I'd also like to thank THDA for the 4% low-income housing tax credit and bond financing, Metro for funding for infrastructure, and ARPA funds for affordable housing. I'd also like to thank our Cayce Place residents, like John, who continue to support this transformation, as well as our Board of Commissioners, Mayor Purcell, MDHA staff, and the many stakeholders and supporters. Thank you to our architect, Smith G., and contractor Hardaway Construction. And at this time, I'd like to welcome all of the speakers, Cayce Place Resident Association President John Zerker, MDHA board members, Mayor Purcell, our two front row guests from HUD, Walter and Mark, and any other elected officials, council members who are in the audience. Please join us for the groundbreaking ceremony.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.